Hey, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Well, current blood sugar. I've been up, I've been down, I've been all around. Current blood sugar is sitting at 7.1. Oh, pretty even, pretty good. I've had a a insured compact um, food source, so we're all pretty good. Time in range, 92%. We got rid of this, but we had some lows yesterday. This is a little concerning. My average sugar yesterday was 5.4. That is really kind of, hey, something's wrong here. But we'll have to tell. Today, I want to take you back. Take you back to to the era of the 70s. Disco music was raging supreme. I can remember our grade 7 graduation dance. It was do the hustle, do, and learning how to bump and grind. Ooh, we were so ahead of the time. But that summer, a whole new world opened for me. Or not the summer, sorry, the fall. And that's when I got diabetes mellitus. That's what it was called back then, or it was called juvenile diabetes. So between the two, that's what I had. So, besides doing, eating all the time and taking shots, there was something new I called urine testing. Now, urine testing were, how to explain it, was like a science fair. You had a bottle of urine, you had bottle of water and an eyedropper, and you had to do 5 drops of urine to 10 drops of water, and then you would drop a pill into it, and it would bubble and squeak and all sorts of things, and then a color would appear. You would match that up to your color, and you'd write what it was down in your log. And that was how we told what our blood sugar was. Now, yes, I got a shave, but I have a problem there, so we're staying away from that area. That was my urine testing. And that's all you went to the bathroom, you did your urine testing, and you went off to class. I had to have a little bag in my locker at school so that I could quickly go open everything up, go and do my urine testing before I even ate. But then came the real problem. We had to go to the bathroom, wait 15 minutes, then try to go again. This worked at home. Like in the morning, you got up, you went, and then you tried to go. But when you're at school and you only have an hour and you're trying to beat every other kid down to food, urine testing went out the window. It was a pain to do. But every day I would, if I remembered, try to do it. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, it's very important that we see your lunchtime urine test. And I said, I don't have time. Well, you really have to get it done. Okay, so I would try for a week. And then again, it would go by the wayside. And every time I would go to the doctor, this was my GP, this is the same doctor I would have problems with when I brought him all my urine results, and he sat there and said, you just can't write down numbers. You gotta do it all. We gotta have this information. You know, reading the Riot Act. That started my years of decline taking care of my diabetes. I could have got better and tighter control, but I didn't until I was 23, 24. And now I look back at this and saying, those are my dark era. And I totally stopped doing any urine because I wasn't seeing any doctors. The only time I would have urine testing was if I had to go to the hospital for whatever reason. Okay, I fixed it. You happy? Oh, it's not totally fixed, but it's enough. Now, if I go into emergency, the first thing they said, well, go to the washroom and then wait 15 minutes and then do another urine and we'll test it. And it was sent off and it came back saying, oh, you're showing ketones. One thing I did always have for years was a little bottle of ketone testing. And if my blood sugar went high, I would take out this with a little paper towel and I would put some urine on it and it would change purplish color. But it was all manual. This is all we had. So we really had to deal with that. That was our way. And doctors looked for these urine results because you couldn't go for blood tests every day. Sorry, it's my hand. You couldn't do that every day. So it was supposed to be your urine test. And I'd go home and I'd try it. Very soon after, they came up with dipsticks that showed ketones and everything on it. So all you had to do was dip it in, and for men, it was easier in midstream. We could put it in, and it would start reading. But still, waiting 2 times, it wasn't the greatest. In 1982, I guess, I had to go to a pediatrician. The school I was in put me in to see a pediatrician. And it was kind of nerve-wracking saying, oh yes, I have to go to a pediatrician. But I went, and he introduced me to blood testing. And that was sort of the end of, okay, so you may notice things have changed, the perspective has changed, everything has seemed to change. That is because care came and gave me care and got me all beautified. So that's why things look different, okay? So I'm going to finish this off. So it would have been nice back in that time to do blood sugar testing every day of our lives. That is something that we thought would be so great. And now, back when I got my first glucometer, it was 60 minutes you had to wait. And then you had to wash it off, and then you had to wait another another minute for it to dry and then put into the meter and then read, and there was a chance that it could come back and say, oh no, you need to redo it, or a failed test, or an error test. It was a pain to do, and tried to race through, especially at school or at lunch work. Urine testing was out the window, and even the earlier blood tests really didn't do that great. But now we're down to 5 seconds a test. We quickly do a blood test. I could have opened up my locker, had my lunch there, did a quick blood test, got the number, could write it down, and then poof, I'd be off on the merry way. But they did the best they could with what they had, and the only thing they could have was urine testing. And urine testing to this day was hanging around for many years. You always had to carry, or not carry, but have at home urine testing diastics, which was ketones and sugar in case you got sick, and then you would test it, and then things would be okay. Whatever. Now, blood tests are so quick, they're so easy to do. I mean, it would be great. Some people are trying to sell watches that will read your blood sugar. And then if you read all their paraphernalia about it, they'll come back and say, for entertainment purposes only. Do not use as part of your regime. So, things don't always work out that way. So, think of where we are now, where we used to be, and how urine testing has really played a role in the way diabetes is treated today. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk again later. Bye. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me